Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the reissue of the Hush Superman from Mafex. This guy came out a while ago originally. I never got around to getting it because I'm not a Superman guy. I figure I'll pick it up when it has a reissue, and now it has. And a lot of people have said this is the best Superman around this scale, and maybe they're right. There's a lot of good things about it. There's a couple things that are a little iffy, but we're going to do a quicker review today because, like I said, it is an older figure, and I'm guessing a lot of you either already have it or don't want it. But for those of you on the fence like I was, I figured I should at least review it a little bit. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. It is your standard Hush packaging, nothing special, but perfectly fine. You get the figure front and center, off center. But yeah, it's good. Photo here is fine. Photo here is pretty good, makes the figure look nice. Some options on the back. Yeah, I think this is a good package, and for those of you that want to keep the figure in the package, you could comfortably do that. Okay, let's set that aside and whip it out. So, this guy stands just about 6.5 inches. That's going to make him roughly 16.5 centimeters. Here he is up against the reissue of the Hush Batman. I was hoping he'd come with a smaller cape this time. He did not. I still think this Batman, while it's good enough, I think it's time for a new one. There's something, I mean, like a new version of this Batman, even with his torso. Was his torso like that before? That big gap? I don't know. Anyway, I did review it. I'll put that link up there. There you can see them together. Batman makes Superman look small in height and in head shape and size. Yeah, they don't really go together that well, honestly. So my my recommendation is you get Superman for Superman, not to put him with that Batman. They don't go that well together, but this is a good enough Superman that it doesn't have to go with the Hush figures, if you ask me. Now, if you are interested in getting this, he's popping in and out of availability at Big Bad Toy Store, so I'll put a link in the description below. You might get lucky, but I think the pre-order sold out, so that means they're definitely working with limited quantities. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the aesthetic on this guy. Well, first, I guess we'll just do this for the sake of consistency. All right, so yeah, the stature on this guy is much better than I was expecting. Mafex has an issue making their figures too slender. Magneto actually got a little bit of bulk on him, so I was happy about that. It's not always obvious in the promo photos, in the solicitation photos, if the figures are going to have appropriate amount of muscle. I'd say this guy does. In fact, I do think this is the best looking Superman anywhere near this scale. Not counting the older, like DCUC ones that are fairly stylized, but really well sculpted, things like that. DCUC, DCSH, those are both really good looking lines for at least the core characters. But as far as like higher end figures, this blows them all away. It's not even close. And probably looks better than those overall too. So yeah, it looks great. The sculpt is really nice. I don't think he has any crazy proportion issues going on. I think he looks really good overall. The chest is definitely weird because they tucked the cape in, which is a good thing. But having it tuck in like that makes it from the side look really strange. He's got like a plate of chest material there. So it's not super apparent in most angles, but in some angles you'll notice it. But at least the cape works well as a result. But yeah, he's got a sufficiently broad chest, nice amount of thickness to him. Same thing with the arms, and even the legs aren't super skinny compared to some other Mafex figures. So that's good. The proportioning is much better. We don't have really tiny thighs and then long calves. So that's, yeah, I think it's overall a really good looking Superman. The cape is not crazy big. Superman doesn't have a really big cape, and it's a little bit big, but it's not too bad at all, so it looks nice. This Batman's cape is like hanging a queen-size blanket off of a figure. It is just an incredible amount of cape. I thought for sure they were going to tone it down for this reissue, but they didn't. So if I remember correctly, the black one had less cape. I'm going to just stick with the black one, I'm guessing. Anyway, this guy looks really, really good. So if you are on the fence and didn't know if he was going to look good in hand, he does. He looks really nice. There is shading throughout the blue, so that's helpful. I think the yellows could have a little bit more saturation. I know they're aiming for a duller look, but a little more wouldn't hurt, that's for sure. The face on this guy is really nice. I think it's one of the better looking Superman heads. I think that's pretty darn good. It's clean, the hair has shading in it, sculpt is good all the way around. Very, very pleased with it. So yeah, this is aesthetically a really, really solid Superman. I'll give this guy a 9 out of 10 for the aesthetic. I'm very, very pleased with the way this one turned out. Way more than I thought I was going to be. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at the accessories. It's not a ton. He does have the alternate head, which looks pretty good. I like that. We have the poison ivy things, just a couple. It's enough if you want to use those. If you don't, I'm guessing most people aren't going to really care. So you can just not count those, I guess. Hands, it's a decent spread, nothing crazy, but it's enough. And then you do get the alternate Batman hand. That's fine. That's got the ring on it, nicely done. If you have that Batman, that's good. And then you get the Mafex display stand. No eye effects or anything like that. It's pretty basic, but good enough. I'll say 7 for the price point. It's not impressive. It's fine though. It is acceptable. All right, now for articulation. It's going to be your basic standard Mafex style articulation. So we have some ball pegs in the neck and head, and it works the way you would expect it to. You're going to be able to pose the head around sufficiently and easily, so I think that's pretty good. Ball pegs always make nuanced posing so much easier than they have here. The cape is connected, not as well as I would like, but well enough that you can pose it, and it does have wire, and so it only has it on the sides, but I think that's enough, so you can definitely pose the cape, and this is exactly how I would do it. No, I'm joking, of course. I'm just showing you the cape does work. So that's good. I like that. There's nothing overly complex about it. It doesn't have weird things underneath the shoulder parts. Doesn't have too much wire. Doesn't have too much material. It's a good material. Perfectly happy with that. Now for the shoulder articulation, you just get your big ball peg with the cap that moves it around in there. Plenty of nuance options. Raising the arm up works no problem at all. And then, of course, you get your rotation, bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, plenty of range, good enough looking. Wrists are on a ball hinge, pretty standard stuff. Easy to pose this guy, no real hindrances or problems. That's fine by me. Torso articulation, I think it's a double, but it's a double. He doesn't have the best range in the upper torso. It's there, but it's really limited. You're going to get most of it out of the lower torso. But using them together, it should be good enough. It might not look as good as having more range up here, which is unfortunate, but it's not bad by any means. You should be able to make it work, so that's okay. They do still use the drop downs, especially since this is an older release. Not ideal, but sufficient. You can definitely kick high enough. Yeah, it's okay. Going out to the side sucks. The drop downs don't help that ever, but it's still not particularly good. It's fine. By the way, do you guys always have plastic stuck in your hip joints with Mafex? I always have to fish that stuff out later, and it's super annoying. Put a hole in the plastic so that I can pull it out easier. Anyway, yeah, the hips work well enough. Thigh swivel is fine. No real issues there. A little bit too much thigh gap. That's the result of having the drop downs. If they didn't have the drop downs, you could easily squish those legs in together farther, and it would look way better. But it's not a huge deal on this guy. Yeah, good posing for the knees. Still a little bit too long down here, but it's not anywhere near as bad as some of the figures we've seen, so it'll probably pose away mostly. Ankles have regular ball hinges. Definitely could have better range. You kind of have to force the foot over the lower leg, and even then it doesn't really want to go forward, so pretty limited there, but not terrible. Ankle range is fine going for an ankle rocker. Toe hinge is acceptable, but not particularly good. Yeah, it's not like the most incredible thing in the world. It's pretty standard for Mafex with no huge problems, but nothing super impressive either. So I'll give him, for Mafex, a 7 out of 10. It's fine articulation. Like I said, you're not going to be blown away, but it'll be fine. Like, you won't be upset about it. So it'll be okay. Alright, so final verdict on this guy. Is this the best Superman at this scale? Yeah, I think so. It is expensive, but I think it's worth it. It looks really good. It does. It looks really, really, really nice. And once you pose him, it looks even better. And the finish is nice enough on this guy. Honestly, he makes this Batman not look good. This Batman still has weird things going on with like the big boxy head and the sunken in chest by over here and at the top, and the bat is hidden somewhat, and he's kind of disjointed in the torso. Yeah, Batman's nowhere near as good as Superman, and I say that only in terms of these action figures, because I'm a Batman fan. But it's a good one. I'm going to give it an overall rating of 9 out of 10. It's a strong release, for sure. If you're a Superman fan or just want a good go-to Superman, this will definitely do the job. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below, but that's it for me. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.